Hey, how's it going? This is Rory from RateMyFuneral.com. That was Rate, by the way. It's been a long time. I'm sure I do actually start quite a few of my tutorials like this, but last couple of months I've been really ludicrously busy. I had a big skateboard competition that I made a video for, and had a big pretty tight deadline on that. Had a couple of other like film competitions and things that I've been doing, so just been sort of tied up with everything. However, this weekend I've managed to get back on the site, get a load of things done and up to date, and done some basic site stuff. And also going to get the third part of this tutorial done, which is for this little guy here. We're going to create the bicycle with the little motor and the cogs, so we're going to get that done. So if I remember rightly, we left the previous one with our little guy standing there. So let's see what we need to do to create this bike. This is probably, because it's quite busy in here, I would like to build the bike elsewhere in a different project, but I need to know the scalings just so that I don't make the bike completely nothing like the right sort of sizes and shapes and stuff. So I'm just going to give myself a kind of rough guide. So if I make that the base, something like that, maybe not quite as long, move back just a little, something like that should be about right. And also so that I know an approximate height, let's add a cylinder and stretch that up to his front bottom. Okay, and we'll grab those, and I'm going to press Control X to get rid of them and go New Project and Control V to paste them. Now they aren't actually in the scene. If we zoom right out, we'll see they're down there. So quick way to get to them: highlight one, press S, bang, that puts us there. So to make things a bit easier while we're working, I'm going to center this all out and then we can move it. PSR button. If you haven't already added the PSR button, it's in a bunch of other ones, so just go and add that. Let's move that back up. So we've got, there we go, right. There we go. So now just when I create a new object, it's going to be nicely in the middle, so it's going to be a bit easier. Okay, so I'm going to hide the cylinder for the minute. The cube shape is pretty good to me, so let's create the base of the bike, which as we can see in this image is kind of this shape. There we go, that's a good angle, with the rubber feet on it, which are sitting slightly lower. Okay, so let's see. The best way to do this, I think, would be create a cube, make it around about the same kind of height, come out a little bit and shrink him. Let's also create, make a copy of that, hold the Control key and drag it, bring that in, something like that, and make it just a little bit taller and a little bit wider. There we go. Okay, so this cube here I'm going to place into a symmetry object. Symmetry, hold down Alt, bang, like that. We need to change this symmetry object because the mirror plane at the moment is going that way. We need to change that to, I think it's XY, so it goes that way. Select the cube and move it. There we go, that's perfect. All right, and then this symmetry object I'm going to place inside this cube, like so, and then I'm going to put that cube inside another symmetry object. I can then click the cube and drag that to the edge, and there we go. That gives us our two shapes, and I want to fillet the edges of this. So because I've done it with the symmetry objects, I just do the one, so we put that to fillet, maybe 1 and 4. The next one, I just want a little bit of an edge, so 0.5 and maybe 3, and then that cube in the center there, 0.5 and 3, something like that. Okay, so that's given us our basic shape. On the image we can see that the saddle bar is coming out of these kind of this little half loop thing. So let's create that. So we need to create a cylinder. We change it to Z plus, there we go, and bring that in just a little bit like that, and we need to make that quite a bit smaller. Let's just zoom in a bit so we can see what we're doing. We need to do slice because we don't want this area underneath. I pointed to the screen just then. Why did I do that? So we'll do it 180 to 360. There we go, and that just puts it on the top. Let's sink that in just a bit and move it back a bit. Perfect. Cylinder caps, so we'll fill it that, but literally 0.5, maybe 1, yeah, and 3. Cool. Okay. Now to make it the gap for the holes, we want to put that in. So I'm going to hold down Alt with the cylinder selected and get a cube. That puts the cube central to that cylinder. And we'll shrink the cube that away, a little bit that away, and a load that away. I'm going to give that a bit of an angle, something like that. And I'm going to put the cube inside a ball and put the cylinder into the ball. There we go. And that's created that shape where our tubes can sit. We also want another one of these as well. So let's do a quick little bit of tidying. This one we need to move a little. There we go. That's about right. So we'll say pole socket. We'll say base feet. Middle base. I'm never very good at coming up with the names for these things, but that will do. We want a duplicate of the pole socket, so I will create an instance of it. Literally just click instance with the pole socket selected, and then that gives me one of those, which I can do here. We'll put that in the front. Is it in the front? Let's just have a quick look. Yep, that's right on the front. Something like that, and it probably would be best if I turn it round. Something like that. I'm just looking at the size of these legs, and I'm not completely happy with them, but we can easily shrink that in like that, and we only have to change one because we did it using the symmetry object. Cool. Okay, that's a little better. Right. Okay, so there's the start. The next thing I think we're going to want to do is create the poles. So if we turn on our cylinder, that's about the height we need to go. So we might as well use this one. Let's go into the object. We need to make the radius much thinner. We don't need as many segments then, and we can just put that in there. Okay, and maybe I reckon about 8. Yeah, we can do the same thing again if we go to no, it's in here, symmetry, cylinder, and move that over. Change the symmetry object to XZ. Oh, sorry, XY. There we go. Cool. I do need to angle these a little bit. So easiest way to do that is I'm going to put them in a group, Alt G, and then the enable access option over here will allow me to just move that down. Let's just make sure it's in the right place. Cool. And then turn that off again, and then go to rotate, and then I can just angle that a little bit there. There we go. It's only a little bit, it's just that's where he's going to be sitting. Okay, so now I need to do another cylinder, so I'll just take one of those out of there and I'll PSR it just so that it puts it straight. This one's going to be a bit longer because this is for our handlebars, so let's just stretch this one up, and it's also going to be a bit fatter, something like that. Okay, and we're going to pop that one in there. Let's name these as we go through. So we'll say saddle poles, handlebar main pole. There we go. We're going to do the same trick for this one as well. If we put it into a null, then we can move the axis down a bit. Turn that off. Go to rotate and just aim that just a little bit, like so. I wonder if that's a bit too fat actually. Just make that a little thinner. There we go. Okay. Next thing I want to do is create a bar that goes along, which is where our cogs are going to sit. So I will make a copy of the main handle. Just keep that tidy. PSR it. Change it to X plus. There we go. And it's going to sit about there. And we want it so it meets both of them. And this is quite a thin one as well. We only want this to be about 8. There we go. Alright, we're just poking out of the edge there. There we go. We'll call this one center pole. And we need yet another cylinder. I'll just create a new one. And put this onto the plus Z. There we go. And just place this so it's on the end there. That's S just to bring me in a bit closer so I can see what's going on, and we'll put that about there. Give that fillet. Come on. Maybe 0.5. Cool. Zoom out, there we go. We have got another one. We'll just make a copy of that one. Put that over there. Stretch that one out a little. I'm just going to shrink this one a bit as well. Okay. Center pole. Let's just there we go. Just keep it a bit tidy. Cool. Okay. So, how's this going to work here? So, next to this pole, we want the cogs. But let's, we'll create that in a moment. Let's do the saddle. We need to create perhaps a cube. Put that up there. Bring that down. If we give that a fillet, there we go. Oops. Something like that. Let's create a cylinder. Do the old trick where we hold down Alt to make it appear in it. Change this to the plus. We want to slice it, something like that. Okay. Cool. Okay, that's our saddle done. I might just make it a little thinner. Cool. Okay. Group those. Alt G. Call that saddle. They're kind of miscellaneous, so we'll just keep them down the bottom there. I think my saddle's maybe a bit too thin now. There we go. That'll do. Okay. I'll tell you what I've just noticed when I look at these pictures. I hadn't noticed that. I did it with 2 bars in the middle here, so we need to do the same old trick. So our center pole object, we'll make that maybe 5. We can actually put that into a symmetry object and move it across, obviously remembering to change that to ZY. We need to get that about right for, there we go, that'll do that. There we go, right. Okay. Cool. Next, I think I will create the handlebars. Now, when we look at the image, what we've got here is there's a nut at the top of this bar, and then the handlebars come out of that. So we'll grab a nut from the other project. If I just pop back to the bulb standing, just need to maybe take one from one of the arms. So we'll take that nut there. PSR it, so it's in the center here. There we go. And we just want to place that there. Cool. I'm looking at this thinking it's a bit long, actually. Thinking I might move it all in a little bit. Right, so a quick bit of fixing. I remember I did have this sort of trouble when I was building this. It took me quite a while to get the get it set up exactly as I wanted it. So if we move that in to about, say, there, we then move those over. Middle base. Cool, okay. So we want that, not that one, that one. Right, and we'll move them in. That's looking a little bit more like it. The center pole is now obviously too long. So we'll shrink that and move it across. Okay, that's a bit better, I think. I think there's too much going on out the back here now. Right. We'll find the right place in a moment. There we go. Cool. Okay. So handlebars. These things were tricky because they've got this kind of funky curve to them. So the way I did those, create a cylinder, and put it smaller, maybe say 10. We can take some of the segments out. Okay, and maybe make it 8. And I'm going to put a bend inside it, holding down Alt. And let's change some of the sizes here. Okay, and we'll put that inside the cylinder. Now, using a bend on a cylinder like that, as you can see, if we just bend it, it doesn't actually work. And the reason for this is because we don't have any segments going through the middle of our cylinder. So we have to go height segments and put this up. Right, there's a thunderstorm outside. My lights in here keep flickering. Hopefully the PC is not going to switch off. Okay, so on our bend we've got a bit of a curve. That's probably a bit too much, so we'll just bend that back a bit. And all we're going to literally do is just add an angle to that. And where are we going with this? With bend. Something like that, was it? Okay. And then my cylinder I'm going to place into a symmetry object. And move the cylinder across. Change the cylinder symmetry object to X, Y. There we go. Tweak this a little bit here. Okay. Couple of issues with the bend angle. So tweak it up a little bit. Let's make that a bit more like that. Strength. There we go. Alright, so that's our handlebars, and I'm going to give that a fillet cap so it makes it completely round. Cool. Okay. Right, what is next? Let's have a look at the picture. I guess we could do the cogs. So the cogs are going to be something like, we can use the cogwheel spline. And what we want to actually do is put this in dead center to our, call that the cog center. Like so, and then we can put our cogwheel inside that. PSR, bang, that's now perfect. Okay, we've got some sizes here. Let's see. So we'll bring these all in a bit. I think looking at this center of this and the pole actually need to come down a little, which is a bit of a shame because that changes that a bit, but we can just move that in over there. There we go. Okay. Let's bring those right in. few more teeth. Okay. I'll do that one. I also want to put some circles inside. So with that cogwheel selected, add a circle. Just take that out of there, shrink the circle right down, and I'm going to put the circle into a cloner and make that a radial. There we go. I want 6 of them, and they're a bit big, so I'm going to shrink them down a bit. There we go. Now we can do this by placing cogwheel into a connect object and then put the cloner in with it as well. And then that way, if we then use an extrude object on that connect, it will take away those circles. So it gives us our cog with those circles. Now cog's not sitting in quite the right place, it's also quite thick at the moment, so we want to grab that, move it over a bit, and our extrude, we want to make that quite a bit thinner. There we go. Okay, so that's our first cog done. We could give it a fillet cap on the extrude, hit constrain to keep it in a little bit, just like 1 with 4 on each side or something. That just gives it an edge to shimmer off. We'll grab this cog center, we'll make a copy of it, and we'll move that over to about there. This version, we're going to go in and go into the cloner and switch the cloner off for the moment. Cogwheel, we can shrink that right down, so in a radius about there. Oops. Bring that one down. Probably got quite a few, too many teeth on this one. There. Okay, and our cloner circles, we'll turn those back on. We need to bring them right in, and we need to shrink. Let's make them 5 and shrink those circles right down. There we go. Okay, so there's our 2 cogs. This cog center, we can go into that one, bring that right in, make it a lot smaller, something like that. Okay. The cog actually has, when you look at it, this one has the pedals coming off it. So we've actually stretched that out a little bit more again. Okay, and we need to create the pedals. I'll grab a copy. Let's just have a copy of that whole thing. We'll just go in there and just remove that. There we go. Call this pedal pole. I'm rubbish at naming these things. Okay, so we want to make this one a bit thinner. So perhaps 3. Put it onto the x-axis. Where is this? Oh, there we go. Okay. So something like that. I think I want to do this so that we'll make a copy of the pedal pole, put this on the Z-axis. Bring that right in, something like that. What have I done there with my fillet? Right. Okay, we can reduce the rotation segments of this one as well. So basically our pedal is just going to sit on top of this bit that's sticking out. So we'll create a cube, shrink it down. Okay, take the pedal off the cube so we can just move that up a little bit. Oops. Okay, so that's one side essentially done. Call that one pedal. So we've got pedal pole. Yeah, they're all pedal poles. So we'll group those together. Group. Pedal. Cool. And we'll create, we'll just do it as a copy. So we've got two of them. Literally, I'm just going to reposition all of this one. So if I put that one there, move the pole so it's on this side, move to that side, move the pole in a little bit. Right. So that's those. So now what I need to do is make sure that it rotate. I just want to rotate it a little bit. I think the easiest way for now is going to be manually. So if I put the pedals in with that cog center there, and then just rotate that a little like that, and then go into the pedals, and I can put that one something like that, and that one something like that. There we go. But we're going to want to fine tune that anyway. But that's a start. Let's just give that a fillet as well as that one as well. Okay, so that's the bike and the pedals done. We've now just got the motor. So the motor, the shape of the motor, it's one of these oldie ones that you used to see at school. I think the easiest way we're going to do this would be create a rectangle, change it so that it is on the ZY plane. We need to reshape this a bit. I'm getting quite messy up here. I did want to try and keep it tidy, but as normal it's ended up in a mess. Turn on rounding, there we go. Okay, so we want to put that inside. Extrude. There we go. So we don't want to extrude on that axis. We want to extrude on. It's that one. So there we go. So, you know, one thing I've got going on here is it's all still too high, all of this, because our motor, I'm better off if I finish the motor, then we're going to have to make some adjustments. So I'm going to place the motor there. Now, is this going to fit? Okay. Make a copy of that. Bring that in. Make the extrude. This is just like there's a little bit just sticking out, so we can create that, something like that. Then we have a cylinder. Oh, didn't want to do that. There we go. Which we change. Okay. It's going to be about that long, but nowhere near as wide as that. So we want it perhaps something like that. Then I want to create the ridges. So I'll use a helix on the cylinder. Hold down Alt. The helix needs to be on the ZY plane. There we go. And just shrink all of these up so we can actually see what we're doing here. Cool. Okay. And put that to there. And the height is about there. Cool. Okay. And the helix needs to be in a sweep nerve. And then I will create just a rectangle, which I will shrink right down. Actually, not a rectangle, my bad. Create a 4-side, that was the one I wanted. So we'll get rid of that rectangle. We'll put the 4-side in there, and we'll shrink the 4-side right down. Okay, so that's going to be kind of what we're after. We need to just fix this helix though, and add more end angle. Okay. We've got some issues with, oops, not that one. I didn't mean to do that. Height, no, not height. What am I doing? End angle, that's the one. So we wind that up a bit. Now obviously this has gone a bit screwy, so that's the problem we don't really want. So let's just try and remember exactly what causes that. It's something to do with this parallel movement. There we go. And our 4 size is probably a little big still. I think maybe it needs to be something like that. Yeah, and our helix can come down in size a little. Okay. Cool. Right, but we can see that our just slightly less ridges on there, so I want a bit more there. But we can see all of this is still too high, so we now need to adjust that. Luckily we did name all of this bit, so it's not the saddle poles. Right, so cog center, that one, cylinder, center pole. We can just move it all down to about the right kind of height. There we go. One of us just got an email. And it's just that one needs to come in a little bit. There we go. Cool. Right. Okay. So there is the bike made. Yeah. Alright, so let's grab all of this. Alt G, group it all, and we'll call it bike. And we'll take it on in Control C into our bulb one. and press Ctrl V. Now obviously it's up there, so we need to bring it down a bit. We need to sit our little man on it. Now just for now I'm going to switch off the bulb. I think, is that what's, no, let's just switch off everything for the moment and see if that just, there we go, just makes it a little bit easier to work with. While we just give this a few textures, pretty much all of the textures that we've already got we can reuse, except I'm going to create a new one, black, ever so slightly reflective. Something like that, no specular, there we go. Bump. Noise, I don't know, something like Luca, there we go. Global scale, 10. I want it real tiny, and I only want it subtle. Okay, and I'm going to put that on the, not on the whole bike, on the saddle, on the base feet, but only on the actual feet, there we go. Where are the handlebars? I knew I should have named it all. There they are. So on the handlebars, there we go. Let's put shininess on some other stuff on the bike. So that can be light shiny, cylinder shiny, sweep nerves dark shiny. The actual thing itself, symmetry, that's the handlebars, we've done that. The nut's already done. Pole socket, that can be shiny. We need that to be shiny. Middle base, pole, cog centers. Obviously, if you've got time, I don't want to be all day on this just creating this bike on this tutorial. But if you've got time, then you spend it making the you know, some specific textures for some specific things. I'm literally just dumping them on whatever for this at the moment. So that's the cogs. We've got a texture, the handlebars, the saddle posts. So don't. There we go. Right. Okay, so there's just some basic textures. So we need to sit our little guy on the bike now. So we'll move him. Let's make it so that he's 1, Alt G. We'll call him Dude. Right, we need to place him so that he's going to be about there, and I'm going to angle him forward. I think the bike's actually a bit too big. I think I might just need to shrink the bike a little. Perhaps something like that. Okay. So we want that sitting on there. Okay, cool. Now we need to move one of the arms. So let's go in and find these arms, which are symmetry objects. So that's quite useful. We just do one and we just basically push them forward. Oh. Okay. So I'm going to just angle that out a little. down a touch. Right, we're going to have to go in and actually do some movement here. So there we go. That one. Obviously this bit's well worth spending plenty of time over. On my original I certainly did. Right, okay, so he's holding on to it. This just looks like an accident has happened. Right, legs, so right leg. The bike now is too small. What have I done there? Those pedals are tiny. Hang on a minute, let me just zoom out a bit and see if I can get an idea of the scaling here. I think the bike's a bit too small now. I'm just going to make it a little bigger. The pedals. Let's just quickly go in here and have a look. Not pole socket. Where are these pedals? You're probably seeing them and screaming at me right now, whereas I can't seem to find them. Saddle, pole, base, middle base. Oops. Ah, here we go. Cog center, pedals. Right. So let's just have a look. So, in comparisons, yeah, see they're tiny. How have I done that? Okay, so they need to be quite a bit bigger that way, and quite a bit bigger that way. Okay, hopefully that'll be okay now. Not sure how that's happened. Right, we need to try and get those legs on them now. This is quite a tricky part, actually, to be fair. Leg. So we're in the bike. So come out the bike, dude. Right leg. Okay, so let's start with the right leg. We'll bend the whole thing. Oh, and the foot's not attached to the leg. So let's put that in there. And the leg joints. Damn, how have I done this? Is it those ones? Yeah. Okay. Okay. We want to put the foot in that one. Because then when we bend that, there we go. The bike is definitely not quite the right size for him. What I can do though, I think, is I'm going to put that there and then I'll adjust the pedal to sit underneath him a bit better in a moment. Okay, leg joint, the spline, you need to grab that last one there. Look, you can see that, and we can actually just move that in. There we go. If we just rotate it a bit. No, that doesn't work. Maybe there's a... Yeah, okay. Oops. See, I've ended up underneath it all. Alright, I need to fix that foot. Like that. If I go back into the bike and then cogs center pedal, not that one, but that one. It's going to be there. We'll make it a bit bigger. We'll make it a bit wider. Okay. I'll move his arms about in a moment just to get those sorted out. These pedals, I'm supposed to have textured those. They should be standing out a little bit better. There we go. Okay. The other leg, so we need to put the left foot inside the leg and the joints. The left foot wants to go inside bolt 2, so that sticks with that as well. Okay, so left leg, rotate. Now that looked really painful. We want this one up quite high. Okay, and then we'll get the other leg there, and we're going to rotate that back down, something like that. Yep, okay. And the leg joint will go in there, we'll grab the spline, we'll make sure that we're on that one, and we just move that in. We need to just rotate this one a little more and move that leg joint up a bit. There we go. Okay, and then we just need to come down and fix this pedal. That's in the bike. Cogs pedal. This one. Okay, so that's that. Let's get the arms sorted out now. Arms, because these aren't quite in the right place anymore. Arms. So if we go for up a bit. Oh, his arms have fallen off. There we go. Oh, there we go. Right, up a bit. Cool. He doesn't look entirely comfortable on it. I think it is because the bike is too small. It does look pretty funny. It's not quite. I think, yeah, the time. It's the amount of time you can spend on it. Right, okay, so I'm just going to plug the cable in. There are a couple of methods to do the cable. It does depend on exactly what you're planning to do with it, whether you did want to completely animate it or whatever. So if we make that so that that goes down to the floor. Like so. Not got much of a curve there now though. If we turn off that, we can see these a bit better. There we go. Cool. Okay, so we can just move these around a bit. Obviously this is working in 3D space, it does become quite tricky. So, how does that look? We've missed. Ah. So, we can just grab that handle, put that in there like that. There we go. Turn that back on. Okay. Need to grab hold of the one over here. There, and just move that way. There we go. Okay. Oh, hang on, what's happened here? Oh no! Oh, goodness sake. Now I've got the light in the way. So, where I moved him up earlier, okay, so you probably noticed that. I bloody missed it, didn't I? That's why he looks so odd, is he's sitting too low, look. Oh, I should have rigged this. Right, okay, so I'm going to quickly fix this, because this is going on far too long. Okay, so arms, dude. Right, okay, so socket and bulb and arms, I'm going to move up. Okay, and then right leg, if I just take the top bolt, bend it a little, and then just raise it. Okay, that one's not too bad. Other leg. Telephone. And we'll do the same thing here. Okay. And the arms. Just need to rotate those down a little bit. Maybe put them in a touch. Go and grab the other bolt. Right, I'll just mute my phone, seeing as that's now going off constantly. Okay. Oops. Okay. Right. So that's our bike and our guy sitting on our bike. Let's have a quick look. Let's just lower the floor a bit as well because our bike's falling into it. There we go. Let's see how that's looking. definitely needs some work. But the principle's there, the idea is there. It's the sort of thing you spend some time over and you can make something look really, really smart. I think this was, well, best part of a whole day I think I spent just creating him, and that's not including even starting to think about actually animating. I will look at animating him and rigging him, but it's not something I've done yet, so I will have to learn how to do it before I go trying to make any videos about it. So I'm not sure how long that one will be, but hopefully there was enough in there just sort of to get you going, having some fun, having a play around with it. You'll probably do a much better job than I did of that. I mean, that's pretty ropey, if I'm completely honest. But that's basically what I did the first time round, but just with a lot more tweaking and not worrying about the time. So there you go. So that's it for this one. Like I say, once I work out the rigging, then I'll think about doing a fourth part. Okay, so have fun, cheers, and see you soon.